Hi my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to episode 34 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and I realise we are officially halfway, I think. There's 64 episodes in total. I think we're like officially at the halfway point, which is really sad because I love this show and I don't want it to ever end. It's so frigging good. We have entered into Briggs. We have met Armstrong's sister, Olivier, and we're hopefully going to get to see more of her in this episode. She seems really badass and really cool. So I can't wait to see how that works out. Kimberly got super injured by Scar, but I don't think Kimberly's going to be dead. There's no way. There's still more for Kimberly to do, and he has a Philosopher's Stone as well. Whether that makes a difference, but I think it has such incredible ability. He could probably heal himself using it, most likely. We also know that Marco and May got the book and that Marco is going to be deciphering it. So hopefully we'll get some more clues as to the relationship between alchemy and alchemy, because there is one, because Scar's brother had been researching them both. And like the tattoo on his arm is like a combination of alchemy and alchemy. It's almost like that he's recognized the link and the ties between them, and that maybe at one stage they were the same thing. But like anything in life, they split into two different factions. One that saw alchemy as a way to heal and help people, and one that saw alchemy as something to be weaponized and used to dominate people. And these two factions maybe led to the sages, who brought alchemy to the east and alchemy to the west, because they split and deviated from one another because their fundamental beliefs differed to each other. Their idea of what to use alchemy/alchemy for didn't correlate. So one specialized in creating alchemy and one specialized in creating alchemy. Maybe they are the same thing, but they've just developed over time to be different because of how they've been used. Because we know that alchemy has become heavily weaponized through the militaristic domination of the state. So that's been going on for a while now, whereas the East really focus on alchemy as like a healing. Obviously, it's used for defense. It's used to help people and to protect others, but it is used to also heal. Either way, it's going to be really interesting to see what the ties and the links are between the two. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 34 because I love the show and I want to see more of Olivier. She's a queen. She's an icon.
氷材性いわゆる霜焼けもう少しで凍傷になるところだったわね
Oh dear, you would have lost more
こんなオートメールで
limbs.
長時間吹雪の中歩いたら接続部分の肉が凍傷になるのよ
ダメだ先生この頭絡まって取れん
Give it back.
ここのオートメールはね柔軟性と軽量性加えて寒さに強いものでなくてはならないの
I knew that it had to be
試行
built
錯誤の結果生み
differently.
出されたのがジュラルミン炭素繊維ニッケル銅などを組み合わせたオートメール
おい先生何もかも話しちまうつもりじゃねえだろうな
Winry would love this doctor. She would love to know more about her and how she functions with automail.
こんなのが少佐相当か
He's his superior.
専属の技師は
Yeah, Winry. Are they gonna bring her here?
客が北国に来るってのに説明も付け替えもなし
Well, she didn't know.
北に来るって話してなかったから
Oh my god, is she just gonna show up? She's just gonna be here like, oh, for fuck's sake. I
コー
already
ヒー代
knew.
100センツ
だねえ東方司令部のよりまずいし
そんなノーマルオートメールで何しにここへ来たんだ
I love how like
試
no
験も
one
通さ
told
ず単
him.
身で
そうだアームストロング少将に力を借り
Like
よう
not
と
even
紹介状を持ってきた
Armstrong.
のに
Armstrong didn't even mention it. Maybe he didn't know.
呼んだか赤チビなんだ文句があるならさっさと言え
She did say she's not gonna treat you like a child. Oh,
かっちょ悪い
his hair. Oh, ow. Fell it into a little tuft.
やつは元気か
ああ
See, older sister, she's worried about him
ですよ
in her own
まあ
way.
いい それより司令部も通さず私に会いに来た理由を聞かせろ。
気にすることないわよ。ここのメンツは訳ありが多いもの。人に聞かれたくない話なんて珍しくもないわ
They're
ね。
all misfits,
で
aren't
も
they?
知られたら軍法会議ものの話とかあるんだけど。
それくらいのことは私もやっている。
Ayo?
兄さん、ちょっと話さないと許してくれないと思うよ。
でもウィンリーが人質なんだ。
何を話してる。さっさとせんか。
She really has no
あくまで元の
patience.
体に戻るための旅ってことで。
She's the complete opposite of Armstrong, isn't she?
なるほど。それでこの白黒猫を連れた
The
娘
little
を探しているの
panda.
か。
Xiaomei.
貴様らが深く物事を考えず迂闊な行動で騒ぎを広げる粗骨者であることは分かった。そんなものを私の城に置きたくない。さっさと出ていけ
She doesn't beat around the bush, does she?
と言いたいところだが、練炭術には興味がある。貴様ら、その練炭術の娘と
Oh,
は知り合い
she's
なのかな
interested in alchemy as well. Why? What do you know?
技
Why
術
do
はい
you
くら
want
あっ
it?
てもいいものだ。特にドラクマという大国と接しているこの地ではな。使い方によっては練炭術
Interesting.
も良い武器になりそうだ。
But that's what it's designed for.
技術は医学に特化した技術です。
There we go.
それを
やかましい。国の内側でキャンキャン吠えるだけの犬目が。貴様らの生活の安寧は国境を守る者あってこそだということを忘れるな。
May isn't gonna take well to being forced to teach someone alchemy to be weaponized.
働かざる者食うべからずだ。
Gotta earn your stay.
そこ修羅離れしていそうだが、中身はまだ甘ちゃんだということがよく分かった。
Unlike her.
それと、
What has she
我
seen
々
that's
に
made
は
her
話せな
so
い秘
hard?
密があるということもな。
She obviously behaves this way to gain respect from those around her. I think she's softer maybe than she appears, but even so, she's a very complicated character to read.
赤いね。
Ishvalan.
なぜだ。イシュバール出身の軍人は殲滅戦の前に粛清されたって。
この肌と目の色は祖父の血が濃く出ている。アメストリス人よ、我が先祖の地イシュバールでは随分やってくれたな。
イシュバール人こそうちの田舎を焼いてくれたり、俺たちの幼馴染の両親をよくも殺してくれたな。
ちょっと兄さん。
Violence begetting more violence. The cycle continues if you don't put a stop to it.
すまない。そういう切り返し方をしてきたやつは初めてだったからね。
俺を試したな。
いや、失礼。あの内乱の後、やたら哀れみの目で見られることが多くてね。正直うんざりしてたんだ。だが君は違った。
I can imagine it gets exhausting. That you want people to recognize you for who you are, but they constantly bring up your trauma.
人と人なら民族を超えて対等に話し合えるはずだ。
Yeah. But is that why he's here then? To hide away, essentially, from those that might bring up the past or judge him for being blood related to the Ishvalans?
私は軍の粛清規約にわずかに外れていて助かった。
Wow.
軍を憎んだりしなかったのか。
君は本当に何でも聞くんだな。軍のやったことは憎んだよ。それと同時に私を補佐として使い続けた少々に疑問を持
Because
った
she's softer than
イシ
she
ュバールの血を
appears.
引く私がいることで
She's been
ここに
through
いる兵たちの
something.
間に波風が立つかもしれない。だのになぜ追放しないのか。
Something that's hardened her.
少々に食ってかかったことがある。
末端の兵一人一人が主である私の意志のもと強くかつ柔軟に、それでいて何事にも動じない屈強な一軍であらねばならない。
She has to be strong. She has to be
貴様の
resolute.
中に流れる多様な民族
To
の
be
血は
weak is to
多様な
allow
価値観で
Briggs to
様
fall.
々な角度からこの国を見ることができる。生まれも育ちも
That's why
アメストリ
she's
ス
so
人である
strict
私
and
が上に
stern.
立つには貴様のようなものが必要だ。死の子の言わずついてこい。
She cares for him in her own way.
それでももし私の中のイシュバール人の血が国軍を許さぬと騒いだらどうするかと聞いたら、少々は何と言ったと思う？
よろしい、かかってこい。国軍代表としていつでも決闘を受けてやる。
だとさ。
嫌な女。
She really doesn't take any shit, does she? She's scared of nothing.
差しでぶった切ってやる。
低めだったね。
But to guard where she's guarding, she has to be resolute. She has to be strong
ここの掟を知っているか？
and
弱
sturdy.
肉強食だっけ？
そうだ。力なき者は死に、力ある者は生き残る。ここには下っ端もボスも、人種も民族も、男女の違いもない。
Ooh,
これも弱肉強食。君が運が強いものだったから生き残った。
he's too short. He can't reach.
届かん。
あれ
ファールマン順位。
Yes, I knew somebody had been sent here. I just couldn't remember
そっ
who.
ちこそ北方司令部勤務じゃなかったっけ？
少尉になったんだ。
Ayo, well done.
昇進おめで。でもなんでつらら落とし？
こんな超下っ端の仕事してるってことは。
出世コース外れてに。
His tears are gonna freeze.
国内最先端の技術を集結して兵器開発を行っている。
戦闘用のオートメールも？
She's very
So,
forward
次、
thinking,
こっちね。
isn't she? Very thinking to the future about defense and protection. She's admirable. Like, she's very strong-willed and knows what she wants and who she is and what she expects of others. She doesn't beat around the bush.
ほら邪魔だ
Oh,
どけ
Jesus.
ふらふら歩いてんなよ。
ごめん。
これ
Oh? Oh?
地下からだよ。何？張ってるような。
Is it an attack?
ドラクマのやつら。
Yeah.
要塞の下に地下道。近いぞ。
Which is why she has to be so strong and resolute. She doesn't have time. It's not. It's one of the homunculi. Yes! The one that was on a mission. Are they trying to incite conflict with Drachma? We're going to meet another homunculi, like, actually properly. Because we got a glimpse of Sloth when we had it confirmed that Wrath was a homunculi, but...
ここに来る貨物列車で重傷を
Kimberly's here!
ふもとの病院に収容されたそうです。釈放されたそうです。大総統の命令で。
That's going to make her suspicious, I think. Yeah.
何事だ？
Olivia's harsh but fair.
何？
But she has to be in this environment. To show weakness is to admit defeat. Like a little mole man.
ホムンクルス。くそ。俺たちがホムンクルスに対抗する方法を探しに来たこと、お見通しかよ。
I don't know if Soft does know. Soft just seems to be like out there doing his own thing. What if he's like wrong turn? Oh no, he's fallen asleep. He's tired.
穴掘る。めんどくせえ。
All he knows is dig a hole. He's not quite all there, is he?
お父様や大総統から僕たちのこと聞いてないのかな。
No. But he's obviously been sent on a mission.
貴様、やはりドラクマの
No!
密偵だったのか。
Obviously not!
嘘なんかついてねえ。俺たちはただ。
Oh, fuck.
もう掘らなくていいのか。
So I wonder what he's been digging for. Has he been digging to create a tunnel so Drachma could invade Briggs Fortress and bring it down and sow discontentment?
まずい。開発層に上がっていく
He
ぞ。
doesn't even fully understand what he's doing. It's all just accidentally happening. Almost like the conversation of like, your survival is luck and therefore survival of the fittest. It's kind of like that. But he doesn't seem to have a thorough understanding as to what's going on. He's just mindlessly moving from one bit to another. Oh, damn. They're gonna see a homunculi in action. That's a cool-ass weapon. I don't like that she wants to weaponize the Alchemy, but I can understand why she's looking for any means necessary to defend. Because that's her duty, that's her responsibility, is to protect from the threat of Drachma, which is the largest country that borders them.
んなもんいらねえですよ。開発班の自信作ですぜ。
They're not going to be any match. That's the issue.
第一弾装填完了直撃
Gonna come back stronger than ever.
ぼさっとするな示弾装填
Oh, it's not gonna do anything. Like it was nothing.
そうだ仕事
Back to work. What's your work? Just digging? Dig the hole. What's he digging for? Like, I don't think he's digging for anything specifically, but just to create a way in for Drachma to take down the Briggs Fortress.
無理だ将軍あいつはいくら殺しても死なない死なない
様なぜあれのことを知ってる
Because they're homunculus.
それは
You're gonna have to tell her.
泥臭いのは好かん
She's been honest and upfront with you. You're gonna have to do the same.
ではあれは密偵か多分
No.
違うあれはお前を知っているか多分
No.
知らないあれの正体は何だ
A homunculus.
あれは誰の命令で動いている答えられないんだなぜ答えられ
You're
ん
gonna have to, though. That's the issue.
察してくれ
You'll have to guess.
最後の質問だ貴様ら我々の味方をする気はあるのか、ここの人たちがやられるのは見たくない多分体の構造や構成要素は人間と同じだ殺せんのは先の攻撃でよく分かっている
But they want
な
to
らば機能停
incapacitate
止
it.
させてやるだけだ火炎よりもきついのを食らわせてやるブリッグズ流を見せてや
The
る
Briggs way? I wonder what's caused her to be so hardened. What has she gone through that's made her this way? Because Armstrong is so completely the opposite. I think it could just be the environment that she's in, that she's had to become strong because, as we saw being mentioned, if you're not strong, you die. Only the strong survive, only those in power survive. So therefore, she's had to cling to power. She's had to make herself this resolute, strong figure in order to be respected, in order to protect the country from the threat of Drachma, especially because they are the fortress that borders. So, of course, she wants to use whatever she can to protect the country and protect the people from the casualties that might ensue. But Sloth digging the hole makes me wonder, is Sloth trying to incite a border skirmish, a conflict, to give them justification and reason to attack Drachma, or just to create an even larger human sacrifice for a bigger purpose? I'm not entirely sure. But at least we get to see Sloth, because we only really caught a glimpse of him and he was digging away, but we didn't actually get to see him. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. He seems quite forgetful, bless him. He's doing his best. You can't really expect much from him. He's trying, okay? But he's quite interesting. He's a bit like Greed. He's not quite fitting in with the rest. He's quite isolated from the rest. So hopefully if they incapacitate him, they'll be able to get some answers from him as to what's going on, or at least why he's digging a hole, because he's had no contact with the father. He doesn't quite know what's going on, or like why he needs to do anything other than dig a hole, but he might be able to like discuss what his orders are and maybe give more context as to the homunculi. I do love that Olivier was saying that everyone here has secrets, everyone here is hiding something. So they're not alone, they fit in quite well. And the fact that her closest confidant is an Ishvalan who basically condemns the military for what happened, because he lost his family in the process, or at least part of his family, because he was here. He escaped the destruction of Ishval, but also the order to wipe out the Ishvalans. And obviously that's going to create some moral conflict. How do you continue to serve the military knowing that they committed such atrocities against your people, against your family, and likely would do the same against you, would judge you for the same reason? But Olivier doesn't judge him. Olivier sees him as part of her command, as somebody loyal, as somebody she can trust. And everyone here has a past, everyone here has probably done things that they're not proud of, but they're all united for a single purpose, which is to run Fort Briggs, is to protect the people from the threat of Drachma to the north, to ensure that nobody breaks through. They have to be strong, they have to be resolute, and they have to focus on the mission. And that means putting aside petty skirmishes, putting aside any resentment or biases. You have to learn to rely upon one another in a harsh environment where one wrong move can be the difference between life and death. You can't depend on someone if you're not willing to put aside your dislike for them solely because of where they come from. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What matters is surviving, working together, and ensuring that this fort stays intact. It continues to be the defense of the nation from Drachma. But her want to weaponization alchemy will be interesting, especially if she does meet May, because May is not going to want to teach her alchemy if she knows it's going to be weaponized as a part of the war machine. Her personality is so entirely different to Armstrong. Quite jarring at times how different they are. You almost forget that they're related. I wonder what the rest of Armstrong's family's like. I wonder if Armstrong's like the black sheep, like he's the odd one out. He's the big softy of the family that nobody quite understands, that maybe the rest of the family are all like Olivier, but he's sort of the exception. He's the one that no one quite understands why he's the way that he is, why he cares so much, why he wants to look out for others. But he is strong in his own right. He is incredibly loyal and noble, and I think Olivier is too. She's just hardened. She's just probably been through a lot, seen too much, and that's why she's the way that she is. Because if she isn't this way, if she shows weakness, that's going to soften those in the fort as well. And that could be life and death for them and life and death for the rest of the nation. So she has to be hard. She has to be resolute in what she wants. But I do love that she's very blunt and to the point. She's not hiding anything. What you see with her is what you get. But her suspicion of not liking the fact that Kimberly, who should be in jail, was let out by the Führer, definitely raises some interesting questions as to how she's going to put all of this together, especially now she knows that this weird being isn't quite human, and whether she'll learn about the homunculi and how she wrestles with that is going to be quite fascinating. I definitely enjoy Olivier. But I do love that they are very accepting of difference and that they want everyone to feel welcome and included here, so long as they're willing to work, so long as they're truthful and they're not here to deceive. But I do love the fact that we have met an Ishvalan that is tired of people looking at him with pity. He just wants to be treated as a normal person. The experience that he's been through and the loss that he has gone through can never truly be forgotten. But at the same time, he is a person. He has his own thoughts and wants and wishes in life. And to be persistently reminded of his trauma is not helping him in the long run. It's holding him back. And I can imagine it's quite frustrating when you want to be recognized, when you want the ability to move forward, when you want to forge your own path, and people just continuously bring up the most traumatic aspects of your life out of pity and most likely wanting to be forgiven by someone who's Ishvalan. They want somebody from Ishval to make them feel better because of what their people have done to them. But it's not about them. It's almost self-serving pity. It's not pity for him and his people. It's pity in that they want him to reassure them that what happened is forgiven, that it's okay, but it'll never be okay. It'll never be forgiven. And he wants to be able to move on, though. He wants to be able to have his own life, and only dealing with people that pity him holds him back. It stunts him because he knows that they likely do feel sorry, that they do feel bad, but at the same time, that using him as a way to forgive themselves, as a way of atoning, because here's someone that descends from Ishvalans, and if he forgives us, then surely everything is okay and we can move on with our lives instead of being burdened with the guilt. But without realizing that they're reminding this poor guy of his own trauma, and that whether he forgives you or not, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna absolve you of what's happened. And that's something that Roy and Risa are more than aware of. What they have done can never truly be forgiven, but they can find a way to try and atone for it. People looking at him with pity isn't going to cleanse them of their actions and their guilt, even if he was to forgive them. It's more just a self-serving act to make themselves feel better. And I can understand why it's frustrating and why it's almost refreshing to meet someone that bites back, that gives a counteraction to, well, your people killed my people and wiped them out in an extermination. And he's like, well, your people burned my countryside and also killed my friend's parents. And he's like, okay, finally, someone that's not willing to just like bow down and concede and lay on like this whole pity act towards me, someone that's willing to actually see me as a person and not absolve me and my people from the atrocities and violence that we in turn have committed. Of course, no act of violence is ever going to justify what happened in Ishval and the extermination. But I just love that we're getting to see another side of it. Somebody that doesn't want to be constantly reminded of it. They want to be able to move forward and forge their own destiny away from what people expect of him. But again, another amazing episode. Can't wait to see more of Olivier. I think she's going to become a favorite. I do love the way that women are written in this show. They're all so different from each other with different personalities, different characteristics that define them. There's no carbon copies. There's no stereotypes. It is just so refreshing. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.